All right, Rangers are making headlines left, right, and center, and not for the best reasons. We've got everything from transfer sagas to injury crises, sack warnings, and of course that Boxing Day defeat that's got everyone sharpening their pitchforks. Is Lawrence Shankland about to jump ship to Rangers? Or worse, Celtic? Could Hagi be packing his bags for Serie A? And what about Danny Armstrong? Are we missing out on yet another winger while Hearts get in first? Oh, and let's not forget that doomed £3 million defensive deal that's come back to haunt us. But here's the big one. Chris Boyd has had enough, and he's calling out Clement and the freeloaders in our squad. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll be asking the same fiery questions Boyd's throwing at Rangers, and you'll probably have a few of your own. Let's dive in. Right, let's unpack this Shankland saga, shall we? So, Lawrence Shankland, Hearts talisman of the past couple of seasons, 69 goals in 2 campaigns, not too shabby, might be making his way to Rangers on a free eye for nothing. Tynecastle might end up cursing their luck if he starts banging them in for us. Imagine that, eh? Their former golden boy rattling goals into their net while wearing the royal blue. A proper scriptwriter's dream, that one. Now, the lad's not exactly been firing on all cylinders this season. Only 3 goals in 18 starts. That's more of a whimper than a roar, but let's not write him off. Players like Shankland don't lose their touch overnight. Maybe he just needs a change of scenery, and what better place than Rangers under Philippe Clement? Desires hasn't exactly been winning Player of the Month, and with all the chat about Hamza Igamane packing his bags, we could do with another option up top. Here's the kicker, though. If Shankland does make the switch, you know it's going to stick in the craw of the Jam Tarts faithful. Watching him do the business for Rangers would be salt in the wound for them. And let's not forget the Celtic lot. They'll have their noses out of joint if he snubs them too. All the more reason to get this over the line, don't you think? Here's a question for you. If Shankland signs and flops, is that a sign we're clutching at straws for strikers? Or does it mean the system's failing the players we bring in? Let me know what you reckon. So, Hagi could be off to Genoa in January, eh? Adrian Mutu, that lad from Chelsea who had more off-pitch dramas than a soap opera, reckons it's the right move for him. Hagi's not been the star man at Rangers this season, but he's still managed 3 assists, which isn't too shabby, considering he's just worked his way back into the side under Clement. Still, it seems like his head might be getting turned by the lure of Serie A. Playing under Patrick Vieira, you can see why he'd fancy it. Here's the rub. If Hagi goes, we'll need to know 2 things. First, how much are we getting for him? You'd hope it's enough to fund a proper signing or 2 in January. Second, what's the plan for replacing him? Losing a creative player like him mid-season could leave us a bit light in midfield, especially if Clement's still tweaking things. Fair play to him if he wants the challenge, though. Italian football's a different beast, and he does know the language, the country, the lot. But it does make you wonder, does letting Hagi go now show a lack of ambition, or is it just smart business for a player who's never quite been consistent enough? Give me your take. So, Danny Armstrong, linked with Rangers at one point, looks set to head to Hearts on a pre-contract deal. Tynecastle must be rubbing their hands at the thought of nabbing Kilmarnock's winger for nothing, while we're still left scratching our heads about our own January business. The lad's numbers this season haven't exactly lit up the league. No goals in 17 games, but 4 assists. But look at his previous 2 campaigns, 32 goal contributions in 75 matches. That's not bad at all, is it? Here's the kicker. We're crying out for goals, and we're 12 points behind the Celtic lot. It's embarrassing to think third-place Aberdeen have scored more than us. We can't rely on Dezers or the odd wonder strike to drag us through. Reinforcements are a must in January, and Armstrong, even as a squad player, might have been worth a punt. But no, looks like Hearts are swooping in while we're dithering. The real question is, are we being too picky in the transfer market? Or are we in danger of losing solid options like Armstrong because we're not moving fast enough? What do you think? Should Rangers have acted quicker, or is it the right call to pass on him? Jose Cordoba, yet another name added to the what could have been list for Rangers. £3 million apparently too much to risk on the Panamanian defender in the summer. Now, we're staring at a defensive crisis so dire, even the Ibrox squirrel would get a call-up if it had boots. Cordoba swanning off to Norwich is bad enough, but failing to secure another centre-back after he bailed, that's on us. Let's look at where we are. John Sutar, who is finally showing us what he's capable of, is crocked. Naraisho Casanwerjo back in Holland with a season-ending injury. Leon Balogun pulled up like he was on a bungee cord in Paisley, likely out for months. And don't even get me started on Robin Proper. The guy's like a competition winner, stumbling about like it's his first time playing football. Dujon Sterling might be asked to fill in, but it's like asking a kettle to work as a microwave. Just not the right tool for the job. The defensive rot stems back to summer indecision. Philippe Clement's been dealt a bad hand, but let's not pretend the board didn't leave him short. January's going to need some serious investment, or we'll be in a right mess. That said, with 12 points behind the Celtic lot, you'd be forgiven for asking if it's already game over for the title. Here's the big one for you. Did the board's failure to invest properly in the summer kill our season before it even began, or is it just bad luck with injuries? Tell me your thoughts. This one's going to stir the pot. Well, Chris Boyd's not holding back, is he? 2 games to save his job. That's the ultimatum he's laid down for Philippe Clement. Honestly, after the Boxing Day debacle against St. Mirren, you can't say he's wrong to ask some hard questions. 12 points adrift of the Celtic mob with Motherwell and that lot from across the city up next. Clement's hanging by a thread, and Boyd's making sure everyone knows it. And let's not ignore the side-eye Boyd's giving the new CEO, Patrick Stewart. Is this lad here to restore Rangers' glory days, or just keep the accountants happy? The way Boyd frames it, we're at a crossroads. Either we're serious about clawing back the dominance, or we're settling for a Champions League qualifying scrap each season and calling it a day. Hardly the Rangers' way, is it? But Boyd doesn't stop there. He's having a proper go at the freeloaders in the squad. Cortez, Matondo, Dowell, all of them skating by, cashing their checks and contributing little to nothing. And let's be fair, he's got a point. How many more times are we going to see highly paid players either warming the bench or languishing in the treatment room while we scramble to find some fight on the pitch? Now, here's one to chew on. If Clement loses the next 2 games and gets the boot, is it entirely on him, or should we be pointing the finger at the board and some of these so-called professionals for putting him in this mess to begin with? Let's hear it. This one's bound to get folk riled up. If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.